Hey friends, you're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry.
And I'm Irene.
We're out in the greenhouse today. We're putting tomato plants into our hydroponic system. Now, Irene and I built this hydroponic system 4 or 5 years ago. We've used it a number of times. We put it back into operation this year. We've not used it for the past 2 years because no good reason, we just didn't do it.
Right.
So far together we've transplanted 8 tomato plants. These are all determinate tomatoes. We have 1 indeterminate that will be growing, and I think we'll put that in a pot that Irene and I have agreed to. So the next step in continuing this process is I'll be getting a bunch of the soil off of these transplants, and then we'll be putting them in the buckets with perlite. So I'll get started with that. You want to get the plant knocked out of the pot?
Yeah, this one's already out of the pot. The soil's not coming off of it really well, so it'll need to be washed. Sometimes it comes out really well. These are a little bit, they're not root bound yet, but they're close, and because they've just grown so fast in the last couple of weeks that, yeah. So all I did was take off the bottom shoots here, so that we're not putting leaves underground, and I'm going to get down here and dig a hole in the perlite.
Right now what I'm doing is just kind of gently squishing the root ball of this tomato transplant. That makes the potting soil release from the roots. I don't want a lot of dirt in the system. The system itself has nutrient in the water, and that nutrient is specifically designed to keep these tomato plants healthy and happy. Now, if you want some more information about the nutrient solution I'm using, drop us a note in the comment section, and I'll be happy to share that. I'm going to get the next plant that I'm going to be getting the dirt off into the bucket so it can start getting the soil fully saturated.
Comes off easier that way. The only trouble is that poor thing is covered with perlite now and dirt.
We'll brush it off.
Okay.
We're trying to plant these transplants fairly far down because that's our usual form of what we do.
Right.
It helps get more roots established along the stem of the plant, and just in case we need to have more support for some reason, even though we're in a greenhouse, we can get more support by having more of the plant buried in the perlite. See, this isn't a really difficult process.
Just messy.
It is a bit messy. My hands are all covered with
dirt, and I'm all covered with perlite, so you know.
I have perlite and sphagnum moss all over my hands. This bucket is full of it, but that's okay. It washes off. Doesn't hurt a thing. But I do want to get as much of the sphagnum off of this root ball as possible. Now, Irene mentioned that the plants were about to get root bound, or she thought they might have been root bound, and fortunately this process separates the roots out so they're not going to try to go in a spiral around the plant. That means they'll be going out into the perlite to absorb nutrient. Now, the way this hydroponic system works, this is a beta bucket system. I have a timer that runs a water pump that moves the nutrient solution around the system. The nutrient solution is continuously aerated by air stones that we have in the bottom of the tank. That's the nutrient tank. And the objective here is to keep the water from that has nutrient solution in it from turning into an algae infested mess. Now I have most of the sphagnum moss out of this particular plant, so time to go put it in the perlite. You ready, Irene?
Yep. Okay, right down the middle. Bloop. There we go.
These plants came from some friends of ours, Deb and Bev. Thank you very much for these plants. It gives us a big head start on the summer. They're planted in these plastic cups. And we'll be returning these to Deb and Bev when we go pick up some other things from them and take a few things to them. It slides off pretty easily. Irene let them dry out a little bit this morning so that they'd come out pretty easily. We're saving these containers because they're reusable and they'll go back to Deb. This plant just goes right into the water. It's going to start taking up water in the sphagnum moss, and that will allow me to start removing everything from the roots, or at least most everything from the roots. This is the next plant that we're going to be putting in, Irene.
Okay.
It's a red snapper. Now, one of the things that is important when you're doing this job is you really don't want to be trying to transplant in the heat of the day, and it's a little close to that now. On the other hand, it was really cold last night. We get down to 37 degrees, which also means that we didn't want to try transplanting after dark when the temperatures dropped. So ideally what I'd normally do is we'd time this transplanting later in the day, but we have other things going on, and well, you just have to make your decisions and take your chances. Now, tomatoes plants are pretty tough as long as they get adequate water. This tomato plant smells great. I love the smell of tomato leaves when you brush up against them. Of course, I'm doing that right now. Now, this variety I think is going to produce in about 75 days. I know that the shelbies that are planted in other places up here will produce in about 75 days. So this would be the first year in quite a while that we've actually been trying to produce tomatoes earlier in the season. Now, we have a friend who's going to be taking care of the greenhouse while we're gone this summer. We'll be gone for about 4 weeks. So it's really important that we have somebody who is trained on how our system works and what we need to have done to make it function. And when the plants start producing food, we want to make sure it comes off. Now, in the past, what we've done, when we didn't have somebody who could actually take care of our vegetable garden very well, we planted on our return, or we planted right when we went out of town. So we'd have 4 weeks of growth while we were gone, and then we would be looking at fruit, 2 to 2.5 months later. And this bucket is getting pretty full of sphagnum. We have about 4 inches of water that's clear until we start running into sphagnum. So it takes more work now to get the roots clean. Now, in case you didn't know, we live off-grid in northern Arizona. The water aquifer here is about 1,300 feet below surface. So we have to have water trucked in, like everybody else here. To drill a well is about $100,000, and you may not get water. That's one of the things about drilling wells. You ready for the next one, Irene?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, except you didn't prune this one. I pruned the bottom branches off of these before they go in the perlite, because I don't want leaves underground if I was planting them in dirt, or under perlite. If they send up shoots, that's fine. I've had them do that before, and I've had entire other tomato plants come out of shoots, but I want to start out with a clean slate, so to speak, on the trunk of the plant. The little hairs on tomatoes will actually grow to be more roots. So if you break off the leaves and plant them deep, they will simply grow more roots, which is fine.
Now the next 3 tomatoes that we'll be planting are much smaller. At least they're much smaller than the last 12 or 13 that we planted. They're coming out of this typical kind of 6-pack. The plants are smaller. I'm going to ask Irene to trim the leaves off so we can go down deeper into the perlite.
Are you going to wash them?
I will wash them, but pull the leaves off, please.
Okay. These are easy because they're just...
Let's take off the next 2.
Probably not.
You would just go that deep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The other ones are big and sturdy, so I'll take off some of the random shoots that are coming off. These are newer babies, so I'll just take off the little original leaves that came out with it.
These are kind of the ideal size to plant in a hydroponic system. It's easy to get the dirt and soil off the roots.
Yeah, I actually prefer to plant them when they're smaller like this, but sometimes you don't get that choice.
Like today. We have a short show up on our channel that shows the wind gusts that we had and just the steady state wind that we had that really kind of interrupted a lot of things. We had sustained winds of 25 to 30 miles an hour and gusts above 50 miles an hour, that's a lot of wind. Ready?
No, I'm busy fiddling with this. Okay. Okay.
Hey Rufus, what are you doing down there?
He says, I'm trying to figure out what you guys are doing. This is messy.
Whoa! Oh, the rat trap went off. Yes, we have rat traps throughout the greenhouse because we still have a few more places where the rodents are getting in. We're still trying to track them down, and we'll eventually find them.
They will all die, or they will stay out, one of the two. They have a choice.
It doesn't take much to set these traps off. Irene polishes the trigger mechanism so it doesn't take much to cause them to snap. We'd rather not be having to trap the rodents, but you know, if they're going to eat our food, we're going to get rid of them.
It's not like they're rare and cool beasts. They're a plague, literally, and they carry the plague. Yes. So.
Boy, there's a lot of wood in this potting mix.
Oh yeah. That's one of the problems everybody I've talked to has the last few years. It seems like they think that they can sell us wood instead of good stuff.
Now I can't wash my hands off. The bucket that has water in it has a lot of sphagnum moss in it. It's probably about, probably 5 inches deep, maybe 6. So there's just a lot of moss in there. This is the last tomatoes we're going to plant today. And I think we're done. Well, let's tell people goodbye.
Yeah, this is a part of our total renovation. I've been doing these plants in pots for months, and we're getting to the point where a lot of the winter things are going away and we're switching to the summer things. But kind of the ultimate switch is when you put in the tomatoes.
I'll try not to touch you. My hands are...
Gross.
They're just dirty. Well, I hope you found that interesting. If you want more information about how our hydroponic system works, drop a note in the comments. We'll be happy to shoot a show about that as well. It might be a little bit late for this summer, but you know, there's always things you can grow.
Definitely. And it depends on the length of your growing season and where you're growing it. I mean, most people grow hydroponics in greenhouses. We have seen people do them outside in very temperate climates like California, but most places they do it in greenhouses, so you extend your season.
Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications because we got a lot more stuff going on.
Definitely. So until next time, bye.
Bye. Hey, don't forget to brainstorm.
Yeah,
We've been doing it all week long.
Yeah, definitely.
Got another pipe to run irrigation to the other side because we have more buckets over here that need to be irrigated.
Yep.